Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. And yeah, this is me, Mike Davis. I know you haven't seen me in a while, but I am darn glad to be back here.
You're
and
back.
Amanda and Davey and all of the hosts.
Yep.
Thank you, because I got a much needed and much enjoyed vacation. I did miss all of you, and I am so glad to be back here with you. But
We're glad to have you back.
yeah, it's nice to be back. Thank you guys for covering for me. It was really, really good. For those of you that want to know, the real reason I went on vacation is we had a big staff meeting at the 904 Now.
Yeah.
And they looked around the room and said, the least funny and least capable person of helping during Florida Man games is Mike Davis, so he can be the designated survivor.
Not true.
So I was sent out of the city just in case something bad happened during Florida Man games. Obviously, it did not happen. It was a smashing success.
We all survived.
Everyone survived,
Yep.
including the designated survivor, who happened to be at a Billy Joel concert.
Billy Joel concert.
There he was. I went to a Billy Joel concert
Did
that
he play
day.
Piano Man?
He did play Piano Man.
Yeah.
He was good. I'm not a huge Billy Joel fan.
Yeah.
I like his music, right? But he's not. But Darcy, it was on her list of I would love to go to Billy Joel. So when he came to Tampa, the kids bought her a Christmas present, a ticket. So we went down. We were on the field
Yeah.
at the Raymond James Stadium.
Nice.
Was really, and Raymond James, you can send the check to the 904 Now. So we're at the Raymond James Field, and it was really cool. We were probably about 50 or 60 rows back. It was still kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Because everybody has this annoying habit of holding up their phone to record. The good thing is at my age with my vision, a lot of times it was easier to watch the phone in front of me if the person was really good at focusing the camera.
That's great.
Just watch the shit. Why do you have to record
So
this
if
stuff?
it was an iPhone in front of you, you could see?
No, those were the blurry ones. The
Yeah.
Samsung was great.
Of course.
The Samsung was
Sure it
perfect.
was. We all
like the
believe you.
iPhone, you could tell there was a group playing on the
Yeah.
stage, but the Samsung, you honestly knew what Billy Joel's fingerprints looked like on the piano.
Okay.
It was good. It was really, really good. So.
Sounds like an identity
Yes.
threat hazard.
No, it was super
Speaking
fun.
of which, what's happening in this picture on Politico article?
I don't know.
All iPhones up.
I know. I just don't get the whole. I'm sorry. I don't get the whole iPhone thing holding
Yeah.
it up. I don't get recording your entire life. Make sure you guys hit share with us too.
We don't record our entire life. We just record 1 hour, 4 times
just
a week.
1 hour a day.
You know.
I mean, we're not addicted to it or anything, and we're just having fun with it. But yeah, well, listen. Let me run. I forgot we got to make some money.
We do.
So
You have
let's
lot
make
of
a few.
practice.
I know I have a lot of bills to pay. You should see the bill Amanda left me.
I know, it's huge.
If Davey knew how much you were charging, he would raise his.
Yeah. Davey knows that's not true.
All right, Abear Kresge and Associates. They're a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing the top-level service in the areas of tax compliance, planning for businesses, estates, individuals, and trusts. They can also do audits, reviews, and other accounting services, business valuations, forensic analysis, and litigation support. They literally do all of your accounting needs. You can call Bill or Ken at 904-460-0747, or you can reach them online at abearkresgecpa.com. Wonderful folks. They do an amazing job. Give them a call. Just don't call them on April the 14th and ask them to fix your taxes.
No, that's not going to
Get a plan now. Give them a call.
Absolutely. Get ready to sparkle with Blue Water Jewelers. Looking to add some dazzle to your life? Look no further. Blue Water Jewelers is your ultimate celebration destination right here in St. Augustine. Discover exquisite diamonds, on-site repair, custom design, stunning engagement rings, and more. No matter your budget, Blue Water Jewelers has something special just for you. Their showroom is 500 Anastasia Boulevard in St. Augustine, and it is a treasure trove of elegance, style, and it's ready to make your dreams come true. Can't make it in person? No worries. They're just a click away. Visit their website at bluewater-jewelers.com and explore their curated collection from the comfort of your home. At Blue Water Jewelers, they believe in making every moment more beautiful. From breathtaking diamonds to unique custom designs, they are here to help you shine brighter. So why wait? Join them in the celebration of love, life, and all things fabulous. Come on over to their stunning showroom or visit them online today. Blue Water Jewelers, where elegance meets celebration. All right, I've got SolarStick. They were established in 2006. SolarStick is a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. SolarStick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. SolarStick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing. Stephanie came on when you were gone.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I did. You had a
had
whole
ladies'
women.
nights.
You had like the women of the 904 now on.
I think we're gonna make it like every time you're away, we're gonna have a women's night. We're gonna have some cocktails though.
Yeah, listen, I don't blame you. I'll spring for the cocktails.
All right.
If I get to go on a surf trip and,
heard that,
and,
Stephanie?
and you ladies will cover, I'll make sure that there are drinks here
We
for you.
got it. We'll do it.
You have to pay for your own Uber home, though. But
we
I
can do
I
that.
can take care of the drinks. And Land Title of America, whether you realize it or not, when you refinance the sale or purchase of a home, there's a title company involved. Don't get stuck with some out-of-town title company who doesn't give a crap when you're faced with challenges. Stay local. Choose Land Title of America. Just call or text Stephen Collins, 904-501-4481. Even after vacation, I remember his phone number. He specializes in all types of real estate transactions. Land Title, your local title company, ensuring America's land one title at a time
Because they give a crap.
Yes, they do. They give a crap. And welcome to everyone who's
We're back.
watching.
It's
all
normal
kinds
now.
of family and friends watching today. I'm nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
I know I haven't screwed up in like 2 weeks, and I'm going to do it in front of all of my family and friends.
You're right, Melissa. It is beautifuler.
It is beautiful. All right, Task Force Hydro One will be here with us on Monday, the 11th.
Yeah.
They're going to come talk about their second annual
Mm-hmm.
Grand Luau.
We're gonna have the new member is gonna come. So it's gonna be a new friend from Task Force Hydro.
All right, awesome. We get to grill a new person.
Yes.
No Ricky Van. Yeah, Ricky.
No,
Ricky's
Ricky's not coming. Leo's not coming. It's Enrique.
Enrique. I'm looking
Enrique's
forward to
coming.
that because
Yeah.
those guys are amazing. What they're doing with veterans,
Mm-hmm.
first responders is absolutely awesome, and getting them out on the surf, it's just awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's May 11th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Are you going? Are you and Louie?
Planning on it. We'll see if we can work
I'm
that
just
out.
checking to see how many tickets I got to buy.
I know. Are you
know.
coming this year?
If May 11th, I think I'm in town.
You gotta come.
And as long as I think I was on a surf trip last time.
You were.
Yes.
Yes. So you sent me in your stead.
I did. And you guys had more fun than we would have had.
You know what's funny?
Because you guys are more fun. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not true. There was like almost nothing on the calendar while you were gone.
I know. I'm
The
still
world
looking.
stood still.
The world stood still on the week that I was gone.
Yep.
It was nice of the world not to have a. It was.
It was.
Leap day is the only
I
thing
pull
on
it
the
out, I'm
Jackie
like,
Hurd calendar.
Jackie Hurd calendar is amazing, but it's empty this week. So I still love it. We're just not going to talk about it because there ain't nothing on here.
It's empty this week. It says
Yep.
Mike Davis's return.
Yes.
The return of Mike
Good of her
Davis.
to know.
Yes.
Maybe
Jackie,
she can give me a heads up with a little more notice than you do.
Jackie, you're awesome. Next year, Jackie, I'll send you the dates and you can put in there Mike Davis will be out of town.
Yes.
Tune into the Mike Davis show because it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, Barbara Jean said it's nice of you to come and join the Amanda show.
Listen, I love the Amanda show. I love that you have the.
Yeah.
You came up with your own graphic up there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love it that Davey gets his name up there. I just think that's awesome and
think
cool.
it's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's really, really good. So give me the update on I know the Florida Man Game stuff is a week old, but you guys
Yeah.
had a lot of fun
We had a lot of fun.
and it was a huge event. Everyone said it was the best event ever in Florida.
best is
event
huge.
ever.
Yeah. It's been everywhere. So, like, even Peloton trainers were talking about it. Davey's in class, and he's like, for real? Pete gets more of a talk and more of a big up on Peloton than I do.
Boy, I bet
It's
that
been
was
everywhere.
the hardest class Davey ever taught.
Davey came in, and he sassed Pete left and right. But it was good. They got it out. They're over
Yes.
it. They hugged it out. Well, except that Pete doesn't hug.
Yes. Pete is not a hugger.
They hugged it out from a distance.
Yeah, it's like Pete is like a high five from
high-fiver?
across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do that
As long as you don't touch
as
it.
long as you don't touch him. Just don't touch Pete.
That's what I should have done before I left the Florida Man Games field. I should have given
Yes.
him a big hug. He
Yes.
was too tired to fight me.
Can I comment? No, Davey, I cannot comment on the HGTV house because it will come back up again before planning and zoning. I can simply tell you that it was postponed from the planning and zoning meeting yesterday. It will be in the planning and zoning meeting in April the 2nd.
All right.
If you want to come there. And apparently...
When are they announcing the winner?
I don't know the answer to any of that, but apparently my comment in the previous planning and zoning meeting
that went
continues
everywhere.
to get aired. And it's like, people are like, yeah, I saw you on TV. I'm like, on my podcast? No.
No.
No, on your planning and zoning meeting. I'm like, oh boy.
Melissa P went international with that. I believe he was on Sky News, so I believe he was international.
I want to be on Sky News.
Yeah.
Australia Sky News?
I think it was UK, Canada, something like that.
I'm sorry, Pete.
Is
When
every
Pete
big.
makes the Australian Sky News, then we're going to be happy. Australian
All right.
Sky.
Maybe your daughter can put in a good word. She's
Yes.
in Australia.
And then I was talking to Darcy the other day, and she was one of our friends, Mary Lou Belmont, did a radio show for a while. Mm-hmm. It was Mary Lou and Sue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will guarantee you that was Susan Johnson.
Yeah.
I will guarantee you that was her. So Pete, if just give me the thumbs up that yes, your mom did a Mary Lou and Sue show.
Yeah.
And Pete had to have produced that or known about it
Probably.
or came up with the idea
Yeah.
or made it better. He's just awesome.
He is.
He is really, really good. So any other news while I was gone? The city was still here. I was shocked when I
yeah.
came back. So
Other than the world standing still, but everyone coming to Florida anyway. The traffic is crazy.
well, yeah,
Are you planning on zoning people have any pull? How are you going to close down Masters for a month?
it's not Masters. It's when we closed down the bridge over the San Sebastian River on King Street. You people haven't seen traffic yet. Just wait.
That doesn't affect me getting here,
Yeah.
but closing down Masters for a month does.
Yes.
So hard to get to the studio.
I was so I left on a Monday night in the middle of the night to go to Costa Rica. So there's no traffic on the road getting to the airport. We get to Costa Rica. There's some traffic, but it's not anything like St. Augustine traffic. And then we're in the back country of Costa Rica where, you see a couple of cars here. I mean, a rush hour is 4 cars.
Yeah.
Right? In like 10 minutes. That's rush hour. So then we come back in the middle of the night and get back at like 1 a.m. And so again, no traffic on the road.
Yeah.
I wake up Tuesday, I go to work, there's like 40 cars on the road. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's not normal.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was, and that was before all of that.
I
so.
saw like eight police cars between 16 and here yesterday with like 4 times the amount of other vehicles on the road as well in between
Yes.
16 and here. It's crazy.
It was.
I hate it. Yeah, Davey said that the Florida Man Games was so viral that he couldn't get in. He did. He struggled. I was there at 8 in the morning-ish, give or take, somewhere around there. So I got in before they closed down the gates, but people were cutting in the back way, and so they had to lock down the gate. So the only way I knew to sneak Davey in, he was about 15 minutes too late, and the police officer had just closed it, and they wouldn't let him through. And then we had to get friends to run VIP bands to him so that he could get in. It was crazy. But there were so many people there that cell phones wouldn't work. So trying to get a text message to someone just across the field, you couldn't do it. And so there were times when I ended up having to be like a bouncer on the VIP seating at the bleachers.
Yeah.
And I had to clear it out of all the non-VIP hooligans and protect the VIPs. So I was the least liked person at the Florida Man game.
So we have a new Florida Man game for next year. Throwing people out of the VIP section.
Bouncing Florida men and women.
Florida men and women out of the VIP section. I think that's a great Florida Man addition.
Oh my word.
Yes.
I was texting my family and it took like 4 hours for the text to go through, but I was like, I'm going to get punched. If you see me with a black eye, it's because I'm keeping people off these bleachers.
Well, that may be another Florida Man game, right?
Yeah.
Your phone doesn't work and you have to get a message across the field.
Yep.
Carrier pigeons are allowed. Carrier
Smoke signals.
raccoons. Carrier alligators are allowed, right?
We could fox it, send it by Fox.
Listen, I'm very happy that it was an incredible success.
It was fantastic.
Congratulations to Pete and you guys for all of your hard work. It really just super
OMG,
good.
it's Wix was super sweet. So was Lane, all of the
Was he a cool guy?
He was so awesome.
That's good.
Anybody that wanted a picture, he stopped for a picture. Anyone that wanted a hug, he gave a hug. He was happy. He was engaged with people. He didn't like run and hide. Lane was a competitor, so he came to do the national anthem. And so he was in and out of the VIP area when I was still by the bar before I got pulled to the bleachers, and got to hang out with him and his family a little bit. They were super sweet. The 2 gladiators, we had Ice and Nitro, I believe it was, and they were super enthusiastic, super engaged. Everybody was just great. It was a great energy other than, telling people they couldn't be in the VIP section.
I think it's a whole new Florida Man game.
It was awesome.
It's like two games. You
Yeah.
have like one team competing to find who the non-VIPs are.
Yeah.
And the other team competing to see how many non-VIPs they can get in the VIP without getting thrown out.
Yeah.
Telling you.
People like got salty. You're telling me these are like the high class rednecks, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not telling you nothing except to move. You just gotta move.
Well, I'm not going to name any names, but I traveled within the last year with somebody who's like, yeah, I don't ever buy any of the seats. It's on a lower tier airline. Like I just board last.
Yep.
And when I get on, if there's a front row seat that's not there or an exit seat, I just sit in it. No one says anything because I was like the last one on the plane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's never going to work. And it worked. And I was like, that's incredible. At least one of the two flights. The other flight, I got on the first. I'm like, I have to get in my own seat because that's just my DNA.
Yeah.
And I just text. I was like, they're all gone, man. You can stop waiting. Just come on in the plane. There's nothing for you to steal.
Yep,
So-
that's true. Pete says you are not hired as the idea guy.
I told you that's why I was sent away because
you're sent
anything that I was going to come up with on that day was only going to make it worse. So the smartest thing I could do was sent away.
Well, next year, I think you should be the host of the mullet contest, but you have to grow out a mullet.
No. I told you I'm not good. I'm not good at this stuff. Pete has worked with me long enough to know that what I'm good at is a limited skill set.
Okay.
Like one or two things. I show up every day. That might be 1 and 2. And I leave every day. I don't
You're
stay.
consistent
I don't
on showing
sleep
up.
here in the studio. So for Pete, it's like, okay, he does those two things. I'm good. He can go. No, like I think there's something. I would love to have met Wix. I've found him on Instagram years ago, and he's just super fun to follow.
Yeah.
Because he comes.
He's so
it's such a
funny.
good, genuine Florida man stuff.
He's just, I mean, he's a guy you want to like high five and give a hug
Yes.
to. And he totally did that at Florida Man Games, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. How many times did he say he got it on his flip phone?
Well, he couldn't even do it first because he would be talking and be like, all right, guys. And they'd be like, get out the flip phone activate.
Oh,
I don't know where it
gosh.
is. Oh my goodness. The crowd kind of took control of some of the events. So there was only so much going into the muddy pool that was supposed to happen.
Yes.
But then anytime somebody competed and maybe didn't score the best, then it was chanting in the pool. And then, so people were just in and out of that muddy pool.
Yeah.
It was wild. I am so glad I didn't have to go in that pool.
They
Tried to get Wix in, and they tried to get the American Gladiators in. They did not bow to peer pressure. They did not go in.
What about Pete? Did Pete go in the pool?
Pete was in and out of that pool setting it up lots.
Okay.
So he spent a lot of time in the pool. By the time he was hosting the actual event, he had already been in the pool for way too long.
And I know Pete's on. So Pete, just tell us, how many days did it take you to recover? Have you recovered yet?
I don't even know.
I mean, it's been a week. Have you recovered yet? Yeah, that's a lot of work.
My kids have one of my family members' old flip phones, and I was trying so hard to find it so I could get a picture with Wix with my own flip phone, but the kids lost it. I can't find it.
Oh, man.
So maybe by next year, I will have cleaned out their toys enough.
If
that I can
Bobby
find
was there,
it.
he would have given you his flip phone.
Bobby was there.
Bobby would have definitely given
So
you his
I
flip
was
phone.
like incognito. I had a big old hat on. I knew I was going to be there all day. Big hat on, sunglasses on. Bobby and I talked repeatedly, and he didn't realize it was me.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. So, all right.
So you had fun in Costa Rica
I
then?
had fun. The waves were good. The company was good. There was 6 of us for the first part of the trip, and then 2 guys had to go home, which was scheduled, and then it was just us. But it was funny. We had some friends that were staying in a different condo in the same building. And the first night we get down there, I mean, everybody's exhausted. Everybody's tired. And they wake up the next morning like, how'd you guys sleep last night? Well, the power was out on the whole building. How'd you guys sleep? I said, well, the power wasn't out in our unit.
Sorry, guys.
So it's just their unit. So
Yeah.
they sweated. I was like, why'd you guys come upstairs?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we'd have made it work out. And so anyway, once they realized that it was just the breaker in the condo, you have all these kind of odd, random things, right, that you deal with. But the weather was perfect. The waves were really good. Company was good. It was
Yeah.
great relaxation. And yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back. It's a great way for me to unplug for a week. And plus knowing
That's
that
one
you're
of your
here
favorite places to go.
and Davey's here and all the other group. And I know Troy and Blake came in. Who won trivia?
Who did win trivia? Blake won it. Just
Okay.
barely. He actually tried this time.
I really liked, I thought it was sheer genius 2 weeks ago when he realized that his dad said,
Yeah.
every question you get wrong, I'm going to take a drink. And Blake's
He
like,
just shot it.
literally, Blake was like, everyone hold my dad's drink, right? Because I'm going to make him drink all of this. So
Hold
that
my
was
water
just
bottle and
so
enjoy.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blake was good. That was
Yeah.
really, and I have good questions for tomorrow.
That's good.
I had a week to kind of just browse through some stuff. I didn't really get deep into anything, but I did find some interesting things.
Yeah. I love that you take a break from vacation to send me a Matt Gaetz story.
I thought that was hilarious. I laughed so hard.
I bet you did.
So those of you that don't know, Amanda grew up with Matt Gaetz. And Amanda, in my opinion, of Matt Gaetz is diametrically opposed. And so anytime I see a Matt Gaetz story, I send it to Amanda. And so
does.
this was a story of he's one of the leading contenders to be the next Republican candidate for governor in the state of Florida.
Please, someone.
So which
rise
after
up and
I
knock him
rolled
off
out
this
of bed
pedestal.
laughing my rear end off, I texted it immediately to Amanda.
Yeah.
I was like, here you go. It's all yours.
I don't hear from him. I don't get confirmation he's going to be here today, but I get a text about a Matt Gaetz
Yes.
poll to be the next governor from Costa Rica.
And it was so funny. The meme you sent back was Michael Scott in the office. No, no, God, no. And the funny thing is, I had sent that meme to Tim O'Neill the week before. And it was the reaction that surfers have when a guy on a stand-up paddleboard comes into the lineup. No, no, God, no. And so that's so funny that it came around again. Yes.
Michael Scott is an excellent gift for almost all occasions.
I have to save that clip because it's I'm going to have to use it again.
On the iPhone, you can easily include GIFs into your text messages.
You can too on an Android. You just have to have a user that's physically able to do it. It is technically capable, but
We have a GIF button.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And I go,
You just
I'm not,
don't know how.
I go, I'm not touching that, but I don't know what that'll do. My phone will explode.
It's red. It's going to
The
explode.
phone will explode. I can't touch
Been
that
a
button.
lot of years watching Mission Impossible. You never hit the red button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy's comment, Nikki Haley.
Conspiracy theory.
Nikki Haley has left the Republican primary.
It's about time.
Everyone knew but Nikki. Now, we will talk to Troy Blevins tomorrow, who is a serial.
So I talked to him about her losing in South Carolina.
Yep.
And that got us into politics, and they went off the rails. And just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs conversation. But yeah, he says he's not a Nikki Haley fan. He's an anyone but Trump fan.
Well, you have to understand, this goes back to the 2016 election. So Troy was opposed to Donald Trump. And so whoever was the number 2 contender was Troy's person of the week, the month, the day,
Yeah.
until he ended up with John Kasich in the prom. And so we just joked that Troy dated all of the candidates, right? He went around the field. He talked to. So this year I'm like, Nikki Haley's out. Who are you dating next? He's like, I don't know. I may have to go RFK Jr.
So as much as, he said that it would be the first time he doesn't vote, or it would be
Yeah.
his chance to vote for Kennedy, is what he said. He and Blake like to paint me as this Trump acolyte that just believes everything Trump says. But in my memories on Facebook, I always like to scroll through my memories.
Yes.
I'm just getting every day is anybody but Trump, please not Trump, please not Trump. So I'm getting all of these like old posts from 8 years ago.
Yes.
About, so I can show everybody. I was never excited about Trump. I didn't know who I was going to vote for like moments before I cast a vote. Like I've never been a Trump acolyte. I've always been yelled at by my Trump friends that I need to get on the Trump train or I'm going to get someone else elected. Like I've always come to supporting and or defending Trump kind of against my will.
Yeah.
If you lie about anyone, then I'm going to correct the lie. If you're going to misrepresent anything about anyone, I'm going to correct that. And I've had people yell at me because I've done it in a way that dispelled a myth about Michelle Obama. I've done it in a way that cleared up misinformation about Obama, and I've done it about Trump, and Trump's the one that I get yelled at the most about clarifying information about.
So I was never a Trump fan.
Yeah.
I watched 1 or 2 episodes of The Apprentice and couldn't figure out how The Apprentice's people couldn't
I
figure
did
out how
enjoy
to do
The
stuff.
Apprentice. I just didn't enjoy Trump on The Apprentice.
I just, and one of them,
Here's another one. I'm telling you.
where they-
Like, it's not a Trump person. This is my memory from 8 years ago.
whenever they did one of The Apprentices, it was a celebrity golf tournament.
Yeah.
And they were freaking out how to run the celebrity golf tournament. Well, if you've been around charity events and you're a volunteer, golf tournaments were a big deal for the longest time. And so I was blessed enough to be involved in quite a few of them. And it's not that big a deal. But they acted like it was the hardest thing in the world to do. And I'm like, you people would not, you can't function, right? I know one of you is going to get this job as an apprentice, but in my world, you're non-functioning.
Yeah.
So I just didn't, I didn't like the show. I tried watching a couple of the celebrity ones. I never really got into that. Never been a huge Trump fan. But I recognized that when he rolled down the escalator, made some comments that were incendiary, everyone said he'd be out the next day, and then he doubled down. Like, well, this is different.
Yeah.
This is different from what we normally get out of Republican candidates. And this is a guy that no matter what he says, he's never going to apologize for it.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, we haven't had this in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Now,
That's true.
granted, Ronald Reagan didn't make those kind of mistakes that Trump made, and he didn't have to worry about that. But
Ronald Reagan didn't lay out rakes and then proceed to step on every single
Yes.
one of the rakes he laid
Yes.
out. Yes.
so anyway, I recognize that. And in 2015, I said, Trump's going to win this thing. And Troy thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
And Trump did. And Trump, if he can do what Greg Gutfeld said yesterday on the 5, which is don't blow this up. You have your supporters.
Stop stepping on rakes.
You have your supporters,
Yeah.
right? You have the people that like you. The people on the fence are the ones you don't need to lose.
Yeah.
So quit ticking them off. Quit saying that. Find out the things they like and don't like, and stop saying the things they don't like. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Somebody else said this election is Trump's to lose. Biden gives the State of the Union address tonight. I don't want to say there's a ton of pressure on him, but there's a ton of pressure on him to actually give a decent State of the Union
Isn't this
address.
late for State of the Union?
Yes, it was a trivia question for tomorrow, but we'll go ahead and throw that out.
Okay.
This is the latest State of the Union ever given. Do you know who holds the record for the second latest State of the Union ever given?
Is it Biden?
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Man, I blew it. I would have gotten that one.
Joe Biden. There's 2 questions you probably just put. No.
All right.
So yes, it is the latest. It will be very interesting. I look at this though through the media, right? If you're a right-wing media guy, you've already got it written up what a bad job Joe Biden did. You're just going to insert some things that you think he said poorly or you disagree with.
Yeah.
So those stories are written. I don't know what the talking points are or the catchphrase is going to be, but tomorrow by this time there will be a montage. Rush was so good at this.
Yeah.
Rush could do a montage the next day of the media. All of them got a talking point, and they all had the same talking point, right? Gravitas was one of those. He just didn't have any gravitas. He didn't have any. I mean, that was the funniest one. The first time, like, where did you guys all decide to use the word gravitas on the same
What
day?
intern looked that up?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Nikki Haley, in her concession speech, in her "I'm closing my campaign" speech, said, "I hope Trump earns the votes of those who didn't support him. This is his time for choosing."
Not going to happen. If you didn't support Trump and you supported Nikki Haley, you're not going to support Trump.
Well, it's really telling when Nikki Haley, her campaign staff were saying, Nikki Haley's she's got a pathway forward because 11 of the 16 Super Tuesday states are open primaries, so independents and Democrats can vote. And it's like, you're claiming that you're the voice of the Republican Party, yet you're relying on Democrats to get you the nomination. What's up with that?
What?
And now people are saying that Nikki Haley voters can still prove that they're patriotic Americans by voting for Biden in the general election.
That's not being a Republican in my mind. But you do what you want to do. It's your vote, right? If you want to throw your vote that way, by all means. I laughed out loud when I read that the first place she had won a primary
was Washington, D.C.
was Washington, D.C. I said, this tells you everything wrong with her campaign.
Yeah.
That she won there. For those of us outside the Beltway, right, that live in the real world and not a political world, right, that's the last place you want to win.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that are diametrically, it's twice I've said that word in the show, opposed to us.
Go on vacation,
succeeding.
get some sun, and you
I
come
know.
with those multisyllabic words. So Davey
What
says,
did that mean? No, I'm just kidding.
So
I knew.
Davey says, where are the Nikki voters going? And so I think some of the Nikki voters were always Democrats, and they were just trying to be spoilers in this. But the problem with the right side of the aisle being fiercely independent and individualistic is that if they don't like the candidate, they'll take their ball and go home.
Yeah.
The reason Obama won re-election was because Republicans wouldn't come out and vote for Romney.
Nope.
And that was 100% the reason. Because if Republicans don't 100% back the nominee, they just won't show up. And they'll do it with the idea that it's a righteous move to not vote for someone that stands against whatever thing that they think they should stand for. So I think they just won't. They won't vote. I don't know. They might vote for Kennedy. But, I mean, I could see some of them voting for Biden. I know Republicans that voted for Biden last time because they didn't believe that Donald Trump was really a Christian, and Donald Trump had said heretical statements. And so they voted for Biden because they believed that Biden was a Christian. And that was their deciding line. So I feel like Republicans are much more likely to jump across the aisle to cast a vote for someone else or just not show up.
I think this will be interesting. You have two people who the majority of the country would tell you they don't want to see run. Right? They're both too old. And they don't want to see him run. They both have cruised.
Yeah. Well,
to
there's
the victory, right?
There's an article.
So then you have to ask yourself, excuse me, because I give an argument.
Cool.
You have to ask yourself, where are the rest of the candidates? I mean, where are the rest of the people that energize the country?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Joe Biden energizes the country. I think Donald Trump energizes the people that want to vote for Joe Biden. The energy in this election is all Donald Trump, whether it's positive or negative energy.
Pro or against.
You're either for him or you're against him. Joe Biden just happens to be a placeholder that the Democrats think is palatable enough to the Democrat voters and some independent voters to get him across the finish line. I think he was more attractive as a candidate during the midst of COVID and the crises and everything, because you're like, Trump is chaos and this guy's going to fix it. But then when you look at the chaos that has ensued since Biden became president, you're like, well, he really didn't fix anything.
Biden pretty much ran on, we got to put the adults back in the White House. And we need to bring class back to the White House. And I'm sorry, but I haven't seen a whole lot of that.
So he brought...
I've seen topless people on the lawn of the White House, but I haven't seen a whole lot of class.
So topless people on the lawn, cocaine in the White House.
Yeah.
A dog that attacks the Secret Service guys multiple times.
Yeah.
And then there's a great ad about the White House being turned into a senior living center.
Well,
with the visiting angels playing in the background.
Yeah. There's a USA Today article, a rematch nobody wanted. Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody has to want it.
Enough people on both sides wanted it. That's why it's there. I think the majority of us just don't want to watch what's about to happen between now and November.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to give you a warning for those of you that think that election day it will all be over. It doesn't matter who wins. It will not be over on election day. It's going to take forever. There's going to be controversy.
I'm so sad.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I remember you're like, okay, we're finally through 2020. It was such a tumultuous year for so many reasons.
So many reasons.
Yes. And then that thing happened in the first week. And I posted a picture of a bourbon glass that said, it's like, good day, bad day, don't ask. Yeah. And I was like, you guys want to guess which line I'm filling this one up to? And here's to 2021. Boy, that didn't last long, right? So I think 2025 may kind of be the same way. So
I don't like it. I don't want it.
I think we're in for this. This is where
I
we're
agree,
headed.
Andy. Something is broken if this is the greatest country on earth and these are our choices.
Mm-hmm. Technically, it's a choice. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. I think it's going to be a horribly awful election. And I think the partisanship and the bickering has filtered all the way down to the local level. Mm-hmm. You can look at local politics here in St. Augustine, where we're one of the most conservative counties in the state, and we got Republicans arguing with Republicans.
Because again, they're all we're all individualism, right? We're all let's survive on the strength of our own effort and our own merit. And so it's hard to make a coalition. It's hard to make a collective when everyone's like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get it done on your own.
But I think there's another thing into that is there's a lot of people today that have become a single voter person.
Single issue voter, yeah.
But it's not everybody being a single. So if there's 20 things that are important to people, say 10 or 15, you've now taken the electorate and you've fractured it so that all of these different percentages are like, well, that's my one issue. And if you don't agree with me, you're not a Republican. And if you don't agree with me, you're not a Democrat. And phew. And so that fracturing and people being single vote issues, I think has made it even more difficult for people to run for office and to be able to get their message out. Because like, yeah, I agree with 9 out of the 10 things you do, but that one thing's really important to me, so I'll never vote for you.
Purity tests are a real problem in politics right now.
Yes.
I mean, if you can't have a conversation with someone on the other side of the aisle because that person is evil. And this was what bothered me about the turn of the rhetoric during the Obama years, is that Republicans were always cast as evil. They're evil. It's not they believe something different. It's not that they don't agree with us. It's that they're evil. And that makes it impossible to come together and form a coalition and cooperate. Because if someone is evil, then you have to destroy evil. You don't cooperate with evil. You don't negotiate with evil. So it's only gotten worse.
Well, the other
Only
issue
gotten
that kind of
worse.
dives into that is the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So the 9-0 decision that Trump can be on the Colorado ballot, which pretty much strikes down all the other opposition to him being on a state ballot. And then people on the left saying, well, this is partisan. It was 9-0.
9-0.
9-0. It's rare when you get a 9-0 issue coming out of the Supreme Court.
Reactions to that decision were crazy. Whoopi Goldberg, dude, Whoopi Goldberg said some weird stuff in reaction to this decision.
Yes.
She's like, the Supreme Court just handed Trump a rubber for him to put on and walk through poop. What does that even mean, Whoopi Goldberg? What does that mean? They just handed him a Trojan? Like, what's happening here? What is that reaction? Like, I get, what is it? Lawrence O'Donnell? Is that the one that was on ESPN and been fired?
No. Lawrence O'Donnell was his own masterpiece of not fun to watch. Who was the guy on?
I can find it.
Oh, I know. Oh, you would ask me, and I'm having a total senior moment.
Boomer.
Yeah, I am. Keith Olbermann.
Keith
Olbermann.
Like, oh my word, he went viral.
Sorry for all of you that were screaming the answer at me.
He went viral because he had his all the Supreme Court justices proved that they can't read, and someone in the comments was like, cry harder, Olbermann. And he's like, those aren't tears, it's pee, and I'm sure you love to be bathed in it. And then the internet went crazy like, wait, why do you have pee on your face? Are you saying that pee comes from eyeballs? Like, what is happening here? It's been weird. It's been weird past 2 days. If you're looking in the comments section.
The only way that he's relevant is by being idiotic, and he's excelling at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people follow him just to see what stupid stuff he's saying. He's lowered himself down to the level of no one wants to listen to you unless you say something completely outrageous.
Yeah.
And he's smart enough to figure that, so he just keeps saying outrageous stuff. None of it makes any, it doesn't. The Supreme Court was 9-0. I thought it was a good decision for the country as a whole. They had to step in and go, no, you can't do this stuff. This is not how we're going to run elections. And I thought that was good. And then the other part that was ironic to me is nobody on the left complained at how the Supreme Court in the 60s and 70s and even somewhat into the 80s drug the country to the left. I mean, drug
the
us
other thing.
to the left. And nobody complained on the left about the Supreme Court at that time based on all these decisions that radically shifted the country.
Well, Whoopi said that she used to respect the Supreme Court and that the Supreme Court, aside from the decision they made in the George W. Bush election, had never been political before that. That was the first time they were ever political, and now they've proven that they're a political arm of the government. It's like, okay.
Okay. They all had a life before they became.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Bobby wins the comments, though. He asked if Arizona had finally finished their count so that they can get ready for the 2024 election.
No. They're going to finish the count the day before the election.
They still haven't filed 2020.
Yes. They still have not filed that yet. They'll be letting you know that Joe Biden won by a few more votes when they get done counting.
Although Sinema lost, or she didn't lose, she's stepping down. She's not running for re-election.
Really?
Yeah.
She was kind of they worked really hard to get her elected.
Yeah.
And then she became kind of an odd figure within the Democrat Party.
And then she left the Democratic Party.
And then she left the Democrat, but she still caucused with them, right? Yeah. I actually think she's one of those people that it's like a dog chasing a car. Mm-hmm. And what happens if the dog catches the car? Yeah. So I think she got elected and she's like, this is nothing like what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then she started doing things that she wanted to do. And then she got all this pushback and she's like, I'm done.
Well, she got elected, and then she didn't immediately do what all the progressives wanted her to do, and they started bullying her from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. They followed her into bathrooms. There was video of her being followed by protesters into bathrooms, into public bathrooms, and chewing her out while she's in stalls, bathroom stalls. So I get why she's like, okay, I'm not a Democrat anymore. Leave me alone.
But it's rare when you see someone serve one term in the Senate and quit.
No.
When you get to the Senate.
Well, you're vested for retirement at that point.
No. You're vested until death.
Yes.
Just look at Mitch McConnell. Just look at Mitch McConnell.
I'll serve one term. Give me that retirement plan and healthcare plan.
No, when you get there, you don't ever have to leave. Yeah. None of them ever leave until they're close to death.
I know, but you only have to do it once to get all the benefits. I'll do one term.
I get that.
And then I'll just get the benefits and do whatever I want after that.
Yeah, I know, but then you lose all the insider tips.
Well, I can do what Obama did, and I can get elected and then just vote present, and then I can be the first woman president.
Yes. There was an article out.
Barbara Jean, no, Mike is not a boomer.
I don't think I am. Am I older or younger than a boomer?
You're Gen X.
Okay, cool. All right, whatever that means.
Yeah. Bobby said to say thank you because I called you a boomer.
But I think boomers are older than Gen X, right?
They are.
Yeah, Bobby, that's not a
Bobby's
compliment.
a boomer.
Yeah, that's not a I've always been one of those guys. I was born in 66, so I'm right on the cusp. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I'm on the cusp too.
Because there's something like, no, you're part of the baby boom generation, but it was right at the end of the baby boom because the pill came out, I think, in 65 or 67, something like that. And so the birth rate plummeted after that.
Yeah.
And so there's the baby bust generation,
so
which was
Gen X
after me.
is 65 to 80, according to parents.com. And I was born in 81, so that just barely puts me in the millennial generation.
Okay.
81 to 96.
I just kind of look at life. I just go, okay.
And then I had kids that split generations. So I have a Gen Z kid and then I have 2 Gen Alphas.
Yes.
So they argue. It's silly.
It is silly. So there's 2 authors who have written a book.
Oh, yes?
The name of the book is White Rage, The Threat to American Democracy.
Yeah.
There's a story in the Washington Monthly. This is how to end Republican exploitation of rural America. Now, I read the article. And I thought to myself, well, this is very interesting. You could probably rewrite this article simply by taking a few lines out, putting a few words in. It says the Republican Party is taking advantage of rural voters. They're mostly white and they're being taken advantage by the Republican Party.
Yeah.
For years, I have read articles on the right that tell me that the Democratic Party has taken advantage of African-American voters.
Yeah.
African-American voters voted in a 90+% block for Democrats. They typically lived in larger cities or metropolitan areas. Not always. You have a lot of rural areas that have a lot of African Americans as well.
Yeah.
But that the inner city was being driven by these identity politics. So I thought it was really interesting that all of a sudden one of these articles that was written in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s now have been flipped. And it's white rural voters that are the problem.
Yeah.
Then they had a couple of guys who wrote the book, went on MSNBC, and they just ran down. You can watch the clip. We're not going to play it, but they just ran down white rural voters.
Well, he
They're
was
too religious.
trying
They
to go
believe it.
viral so he could sell books.
Listen, I know people that'll go buy that book and read that book and
Yeah.
then tell me I got to
So
read
do
that book. And I'll go, I ain't reading that book.
Yeah.
I don't need to read the book. I know, you travel around the country. There's and you have a certain political bias, which I do have.
Yes.
I know there are places to express that bias and places not to express that bias.
For sure.
So when I'm in a small town, I feel a lot more comfortable with my biases. If I'm in a medium-sized town or a large town, I am not going to say a lot of things I might say to somebody standing in line in a different setting.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? What's going on? That's about the extent of it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, love the American hat that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Love the American flag hat. Love there's all kinds of things you can say,
Yeah.
but you can't, it just depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
Right. And I am sure that there are people that live in more liberal areas that when they come to Florida or other places are freaking out that they're in Florida or they're in some red state and, oh my gosh, something bad's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
It's not the way it works, but.
Yeah. Which there's lots of articles of people that are like, I actually went to a Trump rally, or I actually went to be around a bunch of Christians, this, that, or the other. I think the Daily Show sent somebody out to try and find, they sent somebody out to like a man holding another man's hand to try and find homophobes in small town America. And they didn't find any. I mean, there's all kinds of content that you can, not that that doesn't exist, just that the towns they went to, nobody like chewed them out just because they were holding hands. And they were kind of surprised by that. There's all kinds of content and all kinds of articles that you can read where people are trying to find something, trying to verify their bias. And if they're honest, a lot of times they don't find it to be true. So I think that's a lesson to look at your blind spots and to look at what you're projecting about the opposing side. Just because I believe the way I believe doesn't mean that I believe people on the other side are evil. I know a lot of really wonderful people that don't agree with me. They're beautiful, lovely, wonderful people that help out others in their community, but they don't believe the same as me. I don't need them to. I'm fine with them believing what they believe. If they want to have a conversation with me about it, then cool, they will. If they don't, then we don't have that conversation.
Yeah.
It's wild, the straw men that we create these days. And someone writing this book tells me they've never traveled around this country.
No.
They've never stayed in a hotel that's less than 5 stars. They've never eaten at a restaurant that's less than whatever 4 or whatever's the best in Zagat. Like, these are very city-oriented people. They don't go to rural America.
There was a great, it was trying to find the Trump voter, and I can't remember who did it. I can't remember, I don't think it was Vice or Politico. It was somebody sent a reporter out. The guy did like a 2-hour show in meeting people that he disagreed with.
Yeah.
And he was shocked to find out, well, gosh, they're really pleasant people. They don't hate me because I look, and they're willing to talk to me.
Yeah.
When I ask them questions, they don't get mad at me. The person was actually physically shocked about, oh my gosh, they're really nice people. I disagree with them, but they're really nice people, and they've shown me nothing but hospitality and kindness, even though they know I disagree with them.
Well, that was what the whole walk away movement was about. It was a bunch of leftists. They had always voted Democrat. That was just the default correct position because they grew up in very Democrat heavy areas and they just assumed that everyone on the right was evil. And they actually started listening to what people on the right were saying and were like, well, that doesn't sound too crazy. And then going to events and just meeting people and, okay, well, they don't hate me. And, you know, if you actually go out and meet people and you actually listen to them and you actually have real conversations, then maybe people aren't the straw men we have created.
No, I completely, yes. I completely agree.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're going to see a lot more of this trying to divide people by sex, religion, color.
Yes.
And that's, I think, part of the reason why people in this country that pay attention are like, I don't really want to watch this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be mad at my fellow Americans. I don't want to be mad at people that are on the other side. And I think you're going to see a ton of that this year. People just turning it off. I think the ratings on the news during 2016, the battle between Trump and Hillary drove and skyrocketed ratings for the news. You had that fever pitch continue all the way through Trump's term, and everything that was going on with COVID, right? And then people just were like, I got to turn this crap off. I'm less mentally stable having watched the last 5 years of this, and people turned it off and tuned it out. And I still think that's going on because ratings are down across the board.
Oh yeah, they're having to fire people everywhere.
And then you have all of these newspaper and magazines that have gone out of business. People said, I'm just not going to pay attention to this crap anymore.
Yeah.
You've built it up to the fever pitch telling me the other guy is the enemy, but I can't ever stop hating them because there's always another battle. There's always another election. And it's hard to keep that fever pitch going at that rate.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are just going to go do their duty, vote, and just, I'm not getting involved in this.
Well, I imagine a bunch of people are going to tune it out because, like, we already heard the arguments 4 years ago. So either you've changed your mind because you've seen what the reality has been for the past 4 years, or you didn't. And so, but do you think that Biden's actually going to debate? Do you think there will be any debates?
There will be no debate.
I don't think he can. I don't
think
there
will
can
be no debate this year, mainly because the people behind it do not want to give Trump a platform.
Yes.
And if Trump is smart, he'll never agree to what the rules are to get into the debate.
Well, you could put up both sides of the coin. So, like, the debates are going to be not fair. And so you could say if Trump's smart, he doesn't participate. Or Trump has been calling for debates and saying, I don't need to debate all of these other nominees because I'm going to be the nominee. I want to debate Biden. And he's saying, let's get it on the calendar today. We don't need to wait until the convention. Let's start debating right now. We know who the two nominees are going to be. So he's calling Biden out saying, I want to debate. I want to debate. And I think that's a good strategy because then he's the one that wants to have the conversation, and then Biden's the one hiding scared. And if he's so proud of his record and if he's so mentally fit and ready for this fight, then why isn't he out there? I mean, he had a very good showing against Paul Ryan in the debate, as much as it pains me to say that. I mean, I think he beat Paul Ryan in that debate.
But Paul Ryan, honestly, at the time was a 20-year-old. And honestly, at the time, Joe Biden was a 70-year-old. I'm sorry, he was 50 or
Close.
60. I exaggerated that.
A little bit of hyperbole.
A little bit.
Paul Ryan was in his 30s.
Paul Ryan was. Joe Biden was much, but Joe Biden did do a good job of being a
cool, calm, collected.
More like a seemed to be a seasoned person.
And I was waiting for him to flub it because, like, he's the one that flubs it.
And I did remember him whispering in that.
He did not whisper.
He did not whisper.
He wasn't the creepy whisperer then.
Just watch me. We have been.
I don't want to watch you anymore, Joe.
There was a great John...
Especially when you're whispering at me like that.
There was a great Jon Stewart comment when it was his first show back. He got a lot of grief for this, but it was talking about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And people saying he's fit and he's vigorous and he's this and he's that and blah, 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 blah. And behind closed doors. And Jon Stewart said, did anybody film that? Did anybody get that? Because that would be good stuff to have, right? That would be the stuff we need to see. If he's so good behind closed doors, he's running like, did you get film of it, right? Where's the camera?
Live stream it.
You guys
Everyone's
film
got a
everything.
phone.
If that's where he's good, film it.
Yeah.
Because obviously what we're seeing on film
He suddenly
isn't good.
has stage fright.
Yeah. So short speech or long speech tonight?
It can't be long.
I can't imagine it being a long speech.
I wonder what they didn't always do. It doesn't have to be a speech. The president just has to give a State of the Union. So it used to not be speeches. In the first years of America, it was just in all the art. Because it was
darn hot there, and they were ready to go home. Where it was hot too. They didn't have air conditioning.
It was also before there was TV. There wasn't a way to do it like that.
Well, I think it'll be a shorter.
They could do it on the radio.
I think it'll be a shorter speech. I don't think it's gonna be a really long speech. No. But it also can't be the shortest speech ever because that will be a knock against Biden tomorrow. she'll be a longer speech than the shortest one. So somebody right now on the Biden staff should be looking at what's the shortest speech and make sure they're 5 or 8 minutes over that, right? Make sure you're out of that range.
Dude.
I always kind of get
wild, man.
mad because as much stuff as we should be agreeing on as Americans in this country, the entire speech is up, down, up, down. One side's up, the other side's down. Very rarely do they both stand up at the same time. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. And it's so...
Well, they can't, because if Republicans stand up for Biden, then they're going to get lambasted tomorrow by the conservative press. And if Democrats stood up and supported something Trump said, then that's it. They're losing re-election. Bobby asks if it's going to be live tonight or taped so they can edit out the gaps.
It is supposed to be live. Yeah. I'm assuming that it's going to be live. But I will tell you this. When they edit it out for a campaign, it doesn't matter what he says live. They're going to edit that anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're the news media and you want to support Joe Biden, you're going to edit out the parts you don't want to. That's been going on since the editing. So
yeah,
I don't think any of that changes. It will be interesting to see who's in the gallery. It will be interesting to see if there's an eruption in the gallery, right? People getting upset.
People yell.
Are people going to wear colors that one year you had all the women in Congress wearing white.
The squad members were all in white.
It's just going to be very interesting. And they're all planning for this because the more of this shtick that they pull off tonight, the more they get on TV.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, how do I get my TV time? Let's figure something out to get TV time.
So you think someone's going to rip a speech?
I thought that was completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
It showed the level of hatred that Nancy Pelosi had for the person that had been elected president.
Yeah.
And that was because it wasn't just her hatred of Trump. It was her hatred of the people that voted for Trump.
Bobby's got a conspiracy theory. Will it be AI? Will they be projecting a hologram? Like, what's his name on, what's that show where you would leap and they had the hologram friend that would pop in?
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
You had half the title.
Close. I was so close.
You young people can't remember anything.
Scott Bakula was a babe.
Bobby, I'm still in Costa Rica. I'm AI tonight. I just want you to know that. Amanda's doing an amazing job working through me.
Yeah.
I think the AI is this election, it will play some role, but the next midterm election, it's going to be devastating as a part of that, and then it's going to be devastating in the next general election.
Yeah.
It's scary what they can come up with AI, and there's no regulations or restrictions.
Ron DeSantis caught some flack because someone had made an AI generated video of Donald Trump that DeSantis's people had put out without a caveat that this is false. This is AI. And so I know Tim Pool and all of his friends were super anti Ron DeSantis because he shared an AI video without a footnote, without mentioning that it was AI. And when he was told it was AI, they didn't delete it. Yeah. So, we're starting to see it already.
Yes. And then you have the AI where they're taking images of people and having them do other things.
I don't like
inappropriate. And I find all of that to be just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can't you realize human beings do enough bad things without enhancing them?
Yes. We don't need to make it worse.
Sometimes we make some really bad decisions. Don't make it. Then you're just making it worse by making it worse.
Yes. You're making everything worse.
Everything's worse. All right. Thank you again for covering the show. Davey, thank you for sitting in and covering.
And helping me out.
We will have the Blevins boys here tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to have a little uncommon ground at the beginning of the show. Because we're going to ask Troy Blevins about how devastated he is that he doesn't have another Republican to date in court in the political arena.
Yeah.
He's getting desperate at the end of that Republican bar right now. Nikki Haley was his last
closing
option.
time.
It was. I know. The jokes are so bad about that.
There's some beer goggles
There's
there, baby.
some beer goggles going on there.
Yep.
And I will tell you, Nikki Haley has destroyed herself for her next run. She's
Vermont,
done.
Is that an open or closed?
It's open.
Okay.
Democrats voted for her.
Yeah. That makes sense. And still, she only won by 3,000.
Yep.
I mean.
Well, what I go look at is how many votes were cast.
Yeah.
So both of those are pretty much decided.
Yeah.
So it was for me, I look at the enthusiasm. So how many Republicans
I
showed
think
up
it was
to vote
150, around 150, 160,000
for
that
each
voted.
one? Yes.
And so they split it like 76 and change and 73 and change, if I'm remembering correctly.
I want to go look at the numbers of people that voted. And unfortunately, one of the best sites to go do that when you look it up is the New York Times. I know. I shudder every time, but I give credit where credit is
I've got it right
due.
here.
Okay.
Actually, Vermont. Oh, I was way off. It's 36,000. I was off on a numbers question.
How many people physically voted for Joe Biden? How many people physically
for Joe
voted
Biden
for Donald Trump?
as well? Okay, Biden in Vermont. Let's see. We've got 56,988.
And how many people?
For Biden, Williamson got 2,919.
So how many did Trump get? You got 57,000.
So Trump got 33,000. Haley got 36,000.
Okay. So that's it. If I look at that, I look at Vermont as going to be a very difficult state for Donald Trump to compete in.
Yeah.
He should lose that state. He shouldn't spend a lot of money in that because the numbers just don't.
They don't bear out.
They don't bear out. Hey, that's a good place to be. It also tells me that many people could not vote Democrat and vote in the Republican, and Joe Biden still ended up with more votes. So it's a heavily Democrat. And in my mind, that's how I read that. Those numbers.
He only got 92% of the Democratic vote in Vermont, whereas he got 99 in North Carolina, 99 in Virginia, 95 in Iowa, 99 in Alabama, 99 in America's Samoa.
No, he lost American Samoa.
He got 90% of the, American Samoa, 99% of the Democrat vote.
No, Joe Biden lost.
Oh, Palmer did. Palmer got, there it is. Palmer.
I was going to hit you if you said no one more time.
I didn't. I was just
assuming.
He's the only one that's running that anyone knows. That's right.
It's the first time that a sitting president in 44 years has lost a primary.
Yeah, that's true.
And now, having said that, it was American Samoa.
It was American Samoa. It was 51 votes to 40 votes.
The island could tip over at any minute. Just ask a
One
Democrat.
family really could have changed that one.
One whole family. All right. Yeah. We'll be in for trivia tomorrow night.
Yes.
We're going to be here all next week. We got some great guests. Task Force Hydro 1, Hydro Task Force 1, Task Force Hydro 1.
Task Force Hydro 1.
Those guys are coming in.
Leo's watching. Say it right.
I know. I love
gracious.
It. Listen, if I say it 8 times, then people remember it. Leo, please buy that, Leo. Please buy that. So, no, but the luau's coming up. We're going to hopefully all be at the luau.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.